Hello, my name is Chung On. I'm presenting for JAC 444 Workshop 7. This is an even longer workshop than the previous one, and I have a lot to explain. In the topic, we have the address pane, and then we have app 1 and app 2. And on this screen, obviously, I have something else, app 2 updated. The reason is that, well, I could have done just address pane, but the thing is that I didn't like the use of paying, so I did write address paying and app one, app two, but I ended up writing something extra. So let's dive into this. So in address paying, it is about setting out paying one with the something called relocate to set out the labels and text fields in exact kind of coordinate thingies. So we have all these numbers to set out where they are placed. And then I already had a modification of doing a combo box for provinces. And all this, on looking back, I could change this a little bit, but I just don't have time for this because I found grid paint to be even better for this. Basically, what happens here is there is only one set of, namely home address fields. So five of them, but the required um, products we also need the alternate address. So I could still add the alternate address here, but basically I'm just doing one part and then it's kind of disconnected from the second part, but the second part actually does more than part one combined. And to test this, there's a app1 main function to call the combo box and the list of address, the type of address, which is like this. We have the drop down for different types, and as already seen just now, I've put the placeholder ABCD here for reference. And the next part we have app 2, a similar pane, and we are trying to call home address and alternate address, but because there was no alternate address in the address pane, so what we have here is that we do have the add and remove buttons, we do have the list view, the names, but this is how we have the same home address for alternate address as well. So it's not actually functional. There's no effects clicking on these buttons. So the main meat for my work is rather in app 2 updated. So it's not just app 1, but rather app 2. So basically, the instructions said you can use the same address pane for app 1 and app 2, but in app 2 there are two addresses. So I'm still repeating myself. The fact that we actually just need two separate addresses. You cannot use the same address for two addresses when the alternate address can be something different. It's more like a design. I cannot say issue, but a design discussion. So what happens here is I have really long coding on having Greek paying instead of paying, and then setting out different columns to address say things like border pane. So just now in address pane, we already have some borderline. So we have a rectangle frame for the two addresses, and we have the same here, which is border pane instead. This is something else in javafx. The same labels, but now I have the new set of alternate address details here. You can also see the same setting out of grid cells for the columns and rows instead of the relocate. We used to have relocate here, and here we have columns and rows, and so on and so forth. So we have two combo boxes of provinces. It can look repetitive, but it's functional. And for the list view, we make sure that we are only displaying the home name field. And the buttons are really intricate. Tons of operations on how to display something and so on. And above all, we also have the file system. So I have something called address book, which is here. So I generated something, and then I also typed something, and we also have a backup system here. So I have batch files to make a backup or to restore the backup. So we can still change the backup, but this is very much a meta discussion of this workshop. So we do have the file system because in the original design it just says address ping and app1 and app2. So if you click add and remove, so there has to be somewhere to place the address entry. So we do need the files. We do need to read from the address book text file. So here we have the address class and the read-write system, but it's mainly on add and modify. Because for remove, we just delete from a certain string line from the text file. So what this does, it is we already have something here. So for the unique name, it is about how we should use unique names, just so when we click the modify button, it's not gonna change every entry bearing the same home address name. So I have something else generated. So different alternate addresses, same names. So to test these things, so say we can still use an existing entry to add something new, but I would propose having something else in the name at least. You don't have to change anything else, but rather at least a different name here. So we click add, and it's here. So to modify, you must highlight this. This is still highlighted, but this is not highlighted. If you're not highlighted and you try to change test 3, then it says error. So you must select this. Yes. And to reflect the changes, you must click reload the program, because if you click back, there's no change here. Reload. So the original change was here. And to remove, you should select something and then click remove. Selected address is this one, delete anyway, so it's already gone. Doesn't matter if we reload, it's already gone. And this is the quick button. So this is the full functionalities of this program. It's more than the instructions. Thank you.